Yo, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Morning Momentum. Thank you for being here. If it's your first time tuning in, my name is Matt Beard. I'm a real estate investor here in Phoenix, Arizona, with my two partners, Pace Morby and Cody Barton. We buy properties nationwide. The purpose of coming on live, the purpose of doing these episodes every single morning is to share with you guys, number one, what I've learned over this period of time growing this real estate business. And number two, giving you guys some insight that may help you in your business as well. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. This is going to be fun this week. We're talking all about data-driven decisions, making the right call in your business. A lot of times we get frozen before we have to make the decision that is super duper necessary. There's a lot of tough decisions that have to be made every single day as business owners, not just in real estate. In everything, there's tough decisions that have to be made. But you got to remember, your alliance is to the business first. And making these decisions are super necessary if you want to be successful. The most successful business owners make this happen and don't make a big deal out of it. So this week, we're talking all about data-driven decisions, guys. Data-driven decisions and what we do. So for this first episode, for Monday, first part of this series, we're going to talk about knowing your numbers. So before you can make that call, before you can, really make those tough decisions that what we're talking about is necessary, you got to know your numbers. You got to know what you're willing to tolerate in your business and what you're not willing to tolerate in your business, right? So a lot of folks are like, well, how do you fire somebody? How do you know if someone's not the right fit for your business? Well, number one, I have to know my numbers. I have to understand what is going on in my business. Like at the end of the day, we talked about this before, business is just two basic functions: innovation, right? Making the world better, making the system better, like offering something new to the marketplace, innovation, and then marketing, right? So knowing my numbers, I want to know my marketing numbers. I want to know the stuff that I'm putting out into the market. What are they saying back in return? What is the market telling me about my approach? What is the market telling me about my strategy, right? Is it working? Is it not working? Like, the market will decide for you, but you have to put it out there. But then you have to track your results, right? You have to figure out what you're putting out there. Like, are you getting a return on your investment? So this first part is going to be quick. I want you guys to understand, you got to know your numbers. When it comes to real estate investing and wholesaling, your numbers are very simple. When it comes to my cold callers, I care about three things. Number one, how many calls did they make today? Number two, how many conversations did they have? Meaning, how many times did they get connected to a prospect? And number three, how many prospects did they send over? That's for a cold caller, right? That is the initial thing. Like, I guess I care about the leads, but how many conversations did they have? How many calls did they make? Right? I know right away if they're making an average amount of calls as everyone else and they're not getting connected, it's a tool problem, right? If they're not making the calls, then I know, hey, it may be a them problem. What's going on? Did the power go out? Like, what happened? Did they not report to work? Right? And if it's a prospect problem, then I know that it comes down to training, coaching, development. That is what we track. That's for cold callers. Now, again, we have different levels to our business. We have lead managers. We have people that call the prospects to further vet them. I want to know, for their position, how many calls did they make? How many connections did they have, right? It all starts there, calls and connections, because it goes back to their part of their agreement with making the calls. Are they keeping their part of the agreement? Great, they did. Connections. Is it a tool issue? Are they getting connected to people? Perfect, they're getting connected. How many appointments did they set for an acquisition team? Of the conversations they have, how many did they maximize? How many did they send over to our acquisition team? That's the three I care about for those folks. And then for our acquisition team, I care about the same two things first, right? I care about the number of calls they made. I care about the number of connections they had. And then I care about how many deals they have gotten, right? How many contracts have they gotten? So three basic things for each level is the numbers that I care about, right? And then on the system side, this is the end result, right? This is what the marketing is saying. Now, what happens if we're making the calls and we're getting the connects, we're not getting the prospects, and I know these people are good, right? Then there's something else that goes beyond this. We track also who we're marketing to, right? And what channel. How is cold calling doing? How is SMS doing? How is internet stuff doing? how is RVMs doing? Like, how many leads have we gotten for the month? We track those numbers. That is very important. So I can know, like, oh my gosh, well, texting is working really well, but cold calling isn't working really well in this market, right? And guys, understand, it's always market dependent. There's this famous quote from, I believe it was John Wanamaker. He was like one of the original pioneers of marketing. He lived in like the 1800s to early 1900s. And he said, half the money I spend on marketing goes to waste. The problem is I don't know which half. That may ring true at that point in time. And people still treat their business this way. People still treat their business like, their marketing is just like, I'm just going to set it and that's just what it's going to be. This is our month plan. This is our 3-month plan. This is what we're doing. Guys, marketing changes every single day. The consumer changes what their behavior is every single day. What do they respond to? And if you keep a really close eye on these things, you're going to run a very efficient business. If you don't care, you're going to spend a lot more money than what is necessary. And you may not even ever get a deal. All right, this stuff can get really pricey if you don't keep track of your numbers. It helps you have better agreements within your business, and it helps you have better expectations for yourself, so you know that what revenue is actually pretty regular, right? Revenue that you can count on. If you watch your numbers, you can do that. So maybe that worked in, the 1900s, even 1950s, 60s, 70s, right? Where people were doing, print media and like what is actually working, what is catching the prospect's attention. The greatest thing about what we have now is the freaking internet. The internet allows us to keep track of all of these things, especially with telemarketing, especially if you do internet ads, whatever. We can track these things more closely. And you got to, right? Because of what I care about is, yes, from our cold callers, our lead manager acquisition team, like I look at those 3 numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But then I want to look at what is the market saying, right? Because we market in multiple states. Like if you're in one market, you need to really listen to what your market's saying in your one market. But we market in multiple states, and we want to see what is this market saying that this market isn't? Who is in this market in comparison to this other one? Right? Different culture, different demographics, right? I get messages every single day from folks. Like, I don't know if it's naivety or if it's just like, I don't know, just don't know what they don't know, right? I get messages every single day from folks who are like, Matt, we're calling, we're not getting leads. What's going on? Matt, we're calling, we're not getting leads. What's going on? My VA is supposed to be getting me 2 leads per day. Okay, well, there's a lot that goes into that. Number one, what is your qualification of a lead, right? Because most of my VAs don't push a lead per day because I don't want the crap in my data, in my system. I'd much rather my VA push 3 leads a week, right? I'd much rather push 3 leads a week for one VA that are like good leads. So we're not like wasting our time with people who don't even deserve a conversation. So it depends. Okay, what's your qualification? Oh, you're just letting everything in. Got it. Well, where are you marketing, man? Okay, so keeping track of your data is very important, because I can tell you right now that cold calling does not work in Phoenix very well, but SMS works pretty darn good in comparison to our other markets. But if I'm not monitoring these numbers, I'm just like putting out data and I'm sending call campaigns and I'm wondering, why is someone else getting all these leads? Why is this person getting all this? Or like Matt said, I'm supposed to get 2 leads per day. Well, if you're marketing in a very, very competitive market, that's not going to happen. Not with cold calling, right? There is specific markets that we double, triple down on cold calling. And there's some markets like Phoenix where we won't even hardly cold call at all. We won't even waste our manpower on it. And the only way I know this stuff, guys, the only way I know it is because we track them. We track these numbers. I like to see how many leads per week did we get from our campaigns, right? So if you're doing a probate campaign, a pre-foreclosure campaign, a regular high equity campaign, where are your leads coming from those things? And what you'll find is typically 80% of your leads will come from 20% of your campaigns. So the more you can keep a close eye on it, you can shut the other ones down, or maybe just do less of them and focus more on where you're getting your results from. Okay. So this week, data-driven decisions. But the first thing before you can make data-driven decisions is track your KPIs. Track the things that matter for your business. And what matters to me is the results that's coming from marketing, right? Because innovation in marketing, what is marketing saying? What is the marketplace saying about what I'm trying to do? What is the response that I'm getting? Okay. So I care about the marketing campaigns that I run on the different platforms. I care about the final result. We're cold calling this campaign, not getting any leads. We're cold calling this campaign, we're getting leads. Perfect. That's what I want to see. And then on the back end, I want to see what is our team performance doing? How many calls, how many connects, how many prospects, right? How many calls, how many connects, how many appointments for lead managers? How many calls, how many connects, how many deals for the acquisition team? So very important. Justice, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. I was working on the KPIs this morning, but had trouble figuring out what campaigns my disposition were for call tools. So just have that set before, man. But when you set your campaigns, be sure to have like a specific disposition that if it's a webhook to Podio, whatever that might be, it's easier to track your numbers. But I think just big picture, it's easier to see what, like, from the results that your VAs or team members are getting, where are most of your leads coming from? Just keeping it very, very simplistic. Where are your leads coming from, and doing more on those campaigns? There is no harm, and there is nothing wrong with just marketing to the ones that are working. That is how you win, right? Being able to say, hey, this stuff, I know people are getting results from probates, people are getting results from tax liens, but I'm not getting anything from that stuff. I'm going to double down on what's working. I'm going to double down where we're getting most of our leads. And that's what you do. That is what you do. So yes, yes, Justice, I track all of our numbers in Podio. So once the lead gets sent over to Podio, we track our KPIs. Where did it come from? Was this a text lead? Was it SMS? Was it an RVM? Did this come from a direct call, right? Did someone just call in from, like, maybe finding us on the internet, or maybe one of our radio ads or whatever? We track it all in Podio, so then I can see per week, okay, how many leads per marketing channel, right? And then what market is it in, and which campaign did it come from? Okay. Those are the numbers I care about on the marketing front. And then on the back side, I'll care about the team performance. So it helps me have better agreements from the folks within the team. And it also helps me identify folks that may not be the right fit. Okay. So guys, before we start making tough decisions in your business, adding more VAs, which is cool because you're going to scale. But when do you add more VAs, right? When do you know it's time to add more VAs? You look at the numbers. I need more help. I need to call this list more. I need to double down here, right? When do you know when to release a VA? By keeping track of your numbers. It's a culture thing for sure, but the data doesn't lie, guys. The data will prove the winners, and the data will prove the losers. So keep track of that stuff. That is the morning momentum today, guys. Morning momentum today is, I hope you start tracking your efforts. Even if you're just working off spreadsheets, what neighborhood are you getting best results from? But when I was door knocking, I knew Mesa, Arizona was the place I was going to go door knock because I had the most people answer their door in Mesa. I had the most conversations in Mesa, right? That's where it starts. Keeping track of your numbers early on, so you know the money that you're spending is super efficient. So we track that in Podio. If you guys don't know, we do have our own CRM build out. It's right there, bombcrm.com. It tracks the KPIs for you, makes an assembly line process for your leads, but ultimately it's up to you, however you want to do it. But as you start making these decisions this week, track these numbers, track what's working, what marketing source, what marketing channel are you getting the most conversations with sellers from? Okay. And then on the other side, you need to track your team members. Even if you don't have VAs, even if it's for yourself, what is the activities that you're doing that is netting you the best result? And do more of that and less of everything else. Pretty simple, guys. The idea is very basic, but I hope you get some value from that, and I hope you start taking action on it, because as simple as it is to track numbers, it's also very simple not to do, because you just think, I'm just going to go take some action. But stay organized. This will help you out when you start growing from 2 to 3 to 3 to 5, 5 to 10 deals. Okay. Setting up systems because you have the data. You know your stuff. You know your numbers. And as a business owner, we should always know our numbers. Cool, guys. Hey, so I hope everyone who tuned in for these 15 minutes and hanging out with me for Morning Momentum, number one, thank you guys for coming and hanging out. It's always a ton of fun. I love doing these. I will be live tomorrow morning. If you get value from these episodes, please, please, please head over to our YouTube channel, hit subscribe, because I go live every single morning. This week, We're talking all about data, how to track that data, and making data-driven decisions. We've talked about contract negotiations. We talked about all kind of stuff, guys. So I hope you don't miss these episodes. And again, if you do get some value, please like it. Please share it with your friends and family who you feel like will get value as well. And head over to your YouTube channel and hit subscribe. I appreciate you guys as always. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.